As men, we have been rejected many, many times by different women on things that we can't even help, that we view as just superficial and wrong. But when women are rejected on things that they feel is superficial and wrong, it's a problem. Let's go ahead and review it.
So I recently had a black man, say to me that he thought I was beautiful, he thought I was hilarious, he thought I was brilliant, and that the only thing keeping him from shooting his shot is that black women are not his preference. Now, I believe that in his heart of hearts, he believed that that was a compliment. But in fact, it was the exact opposite.
Hold on. So he thought you was funny. He thought you was pretty, but he didn't want to get with you because black women was not his preference. Now, you saw that laugh. You know where it's about to go with that laugh, right? You already know where it's about to go. But let me ask you a question. When you hear guys say that, ladies, instead of getting in your feelings about something, and I'm gonna get into what I like in that too, when guys say that, why don't you ask him a question, just a simple question? I'll say, okay, I understand, but like, has it always been that way? Like, I'm just trying to just understand, like this, like, I just want to know, like, what happened, or, because I know you probably did you grow up around a lot of black people? Like, try to figure out the story. And believe it or not, if you come with you smiling at them, you may even touch their shoulder, or touch their hand or something, and say, I just want to know, like, how did you get to that point, And a lot of times these men would tell you. They will tell you their stories. That way you can understand the origin story of why this guy's saying this. But a lot of times these women don't want to know the origin story, don't want to hear why. So they can quantify what's going on, or maybe even debunk something they even got in their mind that could be wrong about black women. But let's continue.
Not only is it insulting, but to have your male counterpart, the only one outside of other black women who knows what it's like to try to navigate this world and this society with this skin, use this skin against you, that is so very hurtful.
And you made it all about you. You made it about you. The question should be, why isn't black women a preference for him? Why? And this is one man that rejected you. One. You mean to tell me every black man that you meet will say that? That is definitely false. Matter of fact, I can guarantee you there are black men in the chat that would talk to you and have no issue and no problem trying to see what you got going on. But when they're rejected, fellas, it's, oh, no, you cannot reject them. But we get to hear stupid things like, well, you're not 6 feet tall, so I can't be with you. That's something a man can't help if he's 6 feet tall or more. He can't help that. He cannot help that. Just like she can't help her skin. She can't help her culture or anything else that she is. Men have been rejected and say that's stupid. My counterpart rejected me because I'm not 6 feet tall. So just as much in your mind that that's stupid and that's hurtful, that he rejected you because of your skin color, it's the same thing that the woman of your community rejected you because you're not 6 feet tall, or the woman of your community rejected you because you're not a freaking Pookie and Ray Ray. That's why you were rejected. The woman of your own community. Well, why don't we have that conversation too? How that conversation is how black men are hurt when they're rejected too. You see how you feel hurt? You see how you feel kind of upset? You see that? That's how black men feel when some of y'all reject them on stupidity like that. Well, let's continue.
It is so hurtful, and beyond hurtful, it is frustrating because it's disappointing as.
And that's the same way black men feel. Is disappointing.
Before you even try to come at me talking about it's just preference, that it's a cop-out.
That's the same thing black men feel. It's a cop-out. It's the same. See, notice they got all these different things when it comes to brothers, but when they do certain things, oh, well, it's just what she likes. You know, she likes it. It's a preference. So your preference is okay, but his preferences are not.
Everyone has preferences. Everyone has something that they prefer in terms of attraction and what they're looking for in a partner. So this has nothing to do with preferences, because I shouldn't have to shit on the thing that is not my preference in order to make my preference known.
Y'all do it all the time to brothers. Why do you think they have passport bros? Why do you think they have, Black Manosphere and all these different groups? Where do you think that come from? Ma'am, it came from people like you, ma'am. You dating Pookie and Ray Ray and rejecting him. You talking about he not 6 feet tall. You saying that he needs to make all this money, but Pookie and Ray Ray don't make crap. You, ma'am. And we're not even talking about a skin color thing. We talking about something that doesn't even, you know what I'm saying? This woman is getting on my nerves, because when she's rejected by one man, one out of millions of black men in America, one, it's the end of the world.
That's giving brokenness. It's giving internalized self-hatred. It's giving internalized white supremacy. And
why does he hate himself? Because he don't want to be with you in particular. How does he hate himself? That's the cop-out argument all the time. He hates himself. No, he don't really hate himself. He really don't. He just don't want to be with you. And instead of you investigating, because he told you was pretty, he told you had a great personality, you could have got the answer out of him, because his defenses were lowered, but his defenses were raised at the same time, because it came from somewhere. A lot of you don't even want to hear that. Some of you want to investigate it, but a lot of you don't. So you go with the insult. You go right with the insult. You're a self-hater. That's an insult when somebody don't feel that way about themselves.
again, it's disappointing. At the end of the day, Brotha didn't have to say not nan one word. If he had already made it up in his mind that I didn't fit within his preferences, then he should have kept his mouth shut.
That's the same thing men have said too. If she didn't feel that I was her preference, she didn't have to tell me, I don't date, college guys. I don't like guys like that. Nah, guys, it's kind of, you dress kind of lame. I don't know what's wrong with you. Oh, well, you sound kind of white how you speak. What you mean I sound white? Oh, because, you just don't use, certain slang. And I don't know. I just feel weird with a guy like that. You could have kept that to yourself too. Well, you kind of too short for me. Okay, you could have kept that to yourself too. But y'all don't have no problem telling a man real quick, if some of y'all are rude with it. Look, men in the chat, you have experienced some of them have been rude to you. You try to talk to them, they be rude to you. They could have kept that to themselves. But when it comes to a black man, we got to walk this and have this criteria for us that they not following.
Internalized self-hatred. It's giving internalized white supremacy. And again, it's disappointing. At the end of the day, Brotha didn't have to say not nan one word. If he had already made it up in his mind that I didn't fit within his preferences, then he should have kept his mouth shut. And the truth of the matter is, I am a beautiful person. I am a hilarious person. I am a brilliant person. And I am also a black woman. And for him to see all those things in me as a person and then stop short because I'm a black woman, honestly, I feel like makes him worse than the very people who have spent years and have spent centuries trying to tell us that we are not good enough, trying to tell us that we are less than, because you know better.
This kind of reaction from one man. One. You really wanted him, didn't you, sis? Ooh, you wanted him because, Lord, you are just, it pierced your soul that one black man you couldn't attain. One. How many black men wanted so many different black women and they could not attain them because they wasn't Pookie and Ray Ray when they were in their youth, in their 20s. Then you look at these same women 15 years later talking about, man, I made a mistake. I should have got with that guy that wanted to get with me 15 years ago. He would have got married to me. There's a lot of black men that have been rejected. A lot of men wish it was just one. See, the thing is, y'all not used to men rejecting y'all, and that's what's happening these days. Some of them rejecting y'all maybe on some of that. Some of them are rejecting y'all just on, I don't want to deal with that fake-looking modern woman look they have today. I want a more natural-looking woman. You know, there's a lot of reasons why these guys are rejecting y'all. Today, a lot of guys are saying, wait a minute, I have value now. And doggone it, I am a prize. And I don't have to put up with you. And see, y'all not used to this new generation of guys saying that to you. And this is why a lot of you are upset. And the way it is now, because you live in integrated melting pot America, in the dating world for a lot of these young guys, you just being a black woman don't really just cut it like that with a lot of them. Whether you like what I'm saying or not. You can say, well, that's not right. People, listen, this younger generation is not on that. I'm telling y'all, especially these Gen Zs, for sure, they are the most integrated generation that we have ever had in this melting pot of America. They don't want to hear all that. They're going to look at you like you weird, even talking something, like using the term self-hating white supremacy to them, just keeping it 100. They're going to like, man, what you talking about, man? Like, I don't hate myself. I just don't like her. You're like, well, white supremacy, like, what they got to do with what I'm doing right now? Yeah, I understand it's out there, but what are you talking about? And they're going to easily reject you. And they're going to say, that's that old, talk. I don't want to hear all that. Man, move around. That's how they are. And if you don't know how to have conversations with the younger people, you're not going to go too far with them. You got to figure out a way to talk to them, how to get to them.
Because they are out here every single day spreading lies and spreading falsities about you as a black man that you know are not true. So why are they not true about you? But then all of a sudden they ain't nothing but the truth when it comes to me.
What are you talking about? They got content creators every freaking day on the internet spreading lies and falsehoods. You got white supremacy, as you talking about, been lying on black people as a whole forever. What are you talking about? Black men are the most propagandized men in the world. No other group of men are propagandized more than black men.
Black women are not your preference. That's fine. I can guarantee you not a single one of us is pressed about that. Well,
you are. You're pressed about it. You made a whole video about the one man that didn't want you. So stop lying to yourself. You see, she's dealing with her issues. She's triggered. Then she's lying to herself at the same time in the same video.
We're pressed about is that you can't just like what you like quietly.
What? You got the divestment females. They like what they like openly. They talk about how they preference just for white men, and they calling black men bullet bags, and they making videos how they get excited watching a white police beat a black man. They making videos saying they're calling us the N-word. I'm talking about the way racists call us the N-word. All that on these divestment channels, right? The divestment channel's been kind of quiet since the brothers kind of pressed them a little bit. I noticed that. But anyway, what is she talking about?
So can you just please stop with the TikToks and the podcasts and writing dissertations on why? We don't need to know why. Just don't date.
Yes, you do. You do need to know why. You need to know why, because there are women that say, wait a minute, I need to hear why, because I'm going to make sure I am the opposite of the why. I don't want to make the same mistakes that they made in the past. The reputation that is out there now really has nothing to do with current Gen Zs and millennials. It has something to do with boomers and I'm going to say early Gen X who's out there on the Phil Donahue show, Sarah Jesse Raphael show. And I need to start doing some videos on that. Start bringing up them old shows and showing y'all exactly what was being said about black men back then and what led to some of this strong, independent woman thinking, and why a lot of men that's today say, you know what, hell no, I'm rejecting anything I hear say strong and independent is a major red flag for me. But you don't get to tell brothers how to feel, lady. And see, making this video, I see why he rejected you now. He picked up on something in your personality that just was thrown off. Now, maybe I think he should maybe said that differently, because he had no problem with your looks. He thought you were funny, but he picked up on something. And sometimes men aren't the best at expressing themselves, unfortunately. You know, a lot of men don't have the gift of gab. But let's continue.
Us. All the while continuing to reap the benefits of our support and our affinity when the rest of the world tries to tell you you ain't worth a damn. Must be nice to have the best of both worlds.
Okay, the best of both worlds. What's the best of both worlds? Black men don't get the best. What you mean? Black men get to benefit from what? The system? No, they don't. Black men have to be 10 times more educated, just as much as black women have to be. So we both don't benefit from that, right? But at least women benefit in the area of being women. Like if they have a baby, welfare, food stamps. Black men don't get any of that. What are you talking about? And this is not an every black woman problem. It's your problem. It's you. The fact is, whether you like it or not, ma'am, you're going to have to compete. You got to compete with other black women. And if this guy is making, a certain amount of money, you're going to compete with a plethora of women. Unless he just say, I'm not open to a plethora of women. I'm only just centered on a black woman. And if he's just centered on a black woman, who's to say he's just centered on American black women? He could say, I got money. I'm gonna go and get me an Afro-Latina. He can do that. There's plenty of them in Latin. It's more Afro-Latinas in this side of the hemisphere than there is black American women. He can go to the Caribbean if he wanted to. If he just want to stick to black women, he definitely go to the continent of Africa and get in one. That's for sure. If he just want black women and nobody else. So even in the black world, if he don't want no other woman but a black woman, a man with resources has options. So what you don't understand is that you have to even compete within the black world, ma'am. And that's what it is. You thinking you should just show up and just get a man. Now, if this guy is just not on keeping the center in the black world, he say, well, I'll just kind of date whoever. Then you got to compete with all of them too. So you got to compete. That's what it is. And a lot of you think that you don't have to compete. Men have to compete with all races of men all the time. It's a dog-eat-dog world out here, and men have to compete. In every area. We understand that as men, we have to compete. We have to compete with white men, Asian men, Arab men, East Indian men, Native American men. We understand other black men. We got to compete constantly. So you need to compete as well if you want a man. But y'all let me know what y'all think about, sis here. She oppressed if she got rejected. Well, now you know how black men feel when they've been rejected for stupidity, like not being a Pookie and Ray Ray, being too educated, not being 6 feet tall, the stupidity, right? If it's stupid about him saying what he said to you, it's the same way. And now you know how brothers feel.